Good morning. So today is Tuesday, July 8th of 2025. These are the journal type of videos, and now this is the second one. And these days I don't do it every day. Every day, you guys know there are shorts at 12 p.m., but here and there I do these videos. And my cup today is this is my happy place. This is my coffee lounge. So these videos are going to be part of the coffee lounge playlist because as I'm doing a lot of different things that you guys know, I really, really miss these videos because I feel like some way I kind of connect with you all with this, the way, really deeply. I don't know if you guys feel that way, but I do. um, because, some of the other ones that I do on a weekly basis, it is a little structured because I really want to help everybody who are going through this difficult journey. So I try to keep it to the point as much as I can. I'm not perfect, and I learn whatever I learned, whatever I went through, I share with you guys. But at the same time, Coffee Lounge is supposed to be like a regular chat with friends. That's the goal of it. So that's why I kind of like this. These are kind of very unplanned and what's going on and that type of thing that you would normally talk to a friend about, this type of chat. So someday, I do plan on going live in this. Anyway, so today I just wanted to share. So I saw a LinkedIn post from a friend who actually is a long, old friend. And we used to work together a long time ago, and then we got disconnected as life happens. You move through job to job, or like different places and stuff like that. And that friend is doing very amazing thing. In India, we used to work together in DC like 15, 17 years ago, 2007, 8, we're around there. Anyway, he's teaching lots of young kids. And it is amazing, amazing how passionate he is about. So he had a post this morning. I just when I commented on it, that how he's so passionate about it, and then how some people may think that that passion is arrogance, and I commented it saying that the right people will always know, and the difference that he's making in those kids' life, their family's life, and people he may not even ever meet, right? So that was something that if people, whoever has walked through the major storm in life, they will realize what he's talking about. So it resonated with me because I am I'm not teaching kids, but it's that calling, the way you feel when you feel it. It's I think partly also because people who have never felt that calling, they will not know, so it's not their fault. Um, because in my other startups I did, 7 of them, some by myself, some with the co-founder, and those are all my side hustles. And um, I never felt this way. I never felt this way the way I'm doing it now. And even though the word startup or business may sound bad, in what I try to tell people is that it's the stories that we tell ourselves, right? Because if you tell the story that it is bad, then it is bad. But if you think of it, any mission, any deep mission cannot carry out over a longer period of time. You won't be able to help as many people you want without uh, without financial help, right? Because you can go only so long, and you may not have all the expertise to go beyond your own territory, the areas that you know of. So anyway, long story short, I figured that I would just capture that. It made me feel like how some people, when you see other people so passionate about doing something, then you also feel even more inspired, right? So that is the beauty of it. So I hope if you guys, as you come here, it doesn't have to be a business or whatever you do, your day-to-day job or a side hobby that you're trying to make it work like a, I don't know, side hustle to a full-time work, or just living life, right? What are your values? So that's another aspect of it. Very recently, I found out. So I studied a lot of self-help people, um, but Brene Brown, I haven't studied as much. Different people connect with different people. I connect with her stuff, okay, not as much, and which is why I haven't checked her as much. But one of the thing I recently came up with is her value list. Oh my God, that was one of the absolute best thing. And there's a very short amount of time you come up with what your values are from 100 or 150 list. You narrow it down to top two. And where I did it, they told us to narrow it down to top three. And for me, it was peace, joy, and love. And love meaning the self-love. That's what she refers it as. And I was blown away because I always talk about this, but when I did the exercise where they give you a minute, okay, from those 150, narrow it down to 10. You barely get a chance to read. That's the point that you are not supposed to overthink, because when you overthink, then our mind starts to rethink decisions, and this is supposed to be, you go with your first choice. And then from that, the 1 minute, and then 30 seconds, you narrow it down from those 10 to 5, and then to top 3. The reason it is hard is because all of them will seem like you want to call it as your values, like accountability, kindness and patience and all of that. So you have to really narrow it down to what is most important to you. And the reason is that when you find out your values, these are the things that you live by your daily life, So it was very interesting. And the reason I mention that is what happens when I talk about midlife reinvention, life after divorce, how to thrive, all of that, right? After divorce, when you reinvent your life, it is a lot about values. You are going to, and when you live by your values, that's when you will feel most authentic. And that's when you will have that feeling of freedom, right? Feeling of freedom. The country can be free, but your mind can keep you in a jail if you don't feel that freedom from inside. And the other way, there are those stories, right? There is I forget his name. Tony Robbins refers him a lot. He was 7 years. He was in a jail cell, and he came up with a lot of great stuff in there. I forget his name. Oh God. Yeah. Anyway, so, and he was like a little jail cell, but then he had all this amazing emotional experience where he felt freedom, and he came up with lots of book material after he came out of jail. He wrote that. So that's the thing. You can't either stay in a jail, have that mindset of freedom mindset, and all, or the other way, right? So this is all it's like how we look at things. And Nelson Mandela, 27 years he was the political party put him there in jail. And then when Tony Robbins asked him, and he said he was preparing for his next step, and then he became, the president or prime minister, whatever they call it there. So yeah, it's amazing. So I think, all of it is like when you are in that zone, when you're living your authentic life. Yeah, some people will think whatever they want to think, but they are not your people. If they're thinking they're arrogant, they're not your people, and stuff like that. So that is also I learned over the long, after 40 something, how much longer do I have? Who knows, right? So no more pretending, no more anything. People who like you, people who think that you're living authentic life, they will walk the path with you, and people who don't, let them not. And that is okay. Because what happens is, as the wrong people fall away, you create space, and in that space, the right people will walk in. Because if you keep hanging out with the wrong people, there is no space for the right people to walk in. So that is something you have to remember. Because one most important thing in life is who you are surrounding yourself with. Literally, who you are surrounding yourself with. Whoever you're spending your time with. Because most time we spend ourselves with, we are ourselves. But that version of us that we are spending time with is influenced by the people around us, right? So that's the interesting part you got to remember. I'm going to share one more thing, and then I'm going to finish the video. So I started writing the book, Grateful After Goodbye. So that's the first book of the trilogy, the Reinvention trilogy, I call it. So turning your pain into power. So it's been interesting. Interesting is I don't know, it's not really interesting. I don't know what the word is, but anyway. So I was writing down some challenging times, and I'll tell you guys that it puts me right back in there in those moments, and it is hard sometimes. Then you might say that, why am I torturing myself by writing these stories if it is hard, if it is making me sad there? Because so many other people are probably in a more sad situation like that, and then I want to help them. I want to show that you can get from that sadness to this, because with God's grace, that I have reached to that freedom, and life will keep throwing things at us, and it does to me too. But this is the fear, and this is the faith, and how quickly we can get from fearful to faith zone. And faith doesn't necessarily mean it's just religion related. That's another thing to keep in mind. Faith is the trust in the universe, God, higher power, whatever that is for you, or believing in yourself. When you believe in something beyond yourself that is bigger than you, so much more that you can even define it, that's when you start to believe in yourself the most. So anyway, so that is the ultimate point, that from here to here. So what I have been doing is, like, when I start feeling it, or when the stories are really deep, I do the mindfulness practice. I feel that chair under me. I take a deep breath, and then I hear the sound, the usual, how you can ground yourself to the present moment. I look at different objects in the room with different color. So that tells me that I am here, right now. That was in the past. So yeah, that was something that I did not fully expect, but that's unfolding now. I am, this is what, July. I am planning to release the book end of the year. If timing and everything aligns, probably sometime in October. We'll see how that goes. But you guys know that I keep you informed. When I was doing the gratitude journal also, I did. And this is the gratitude journal. A couple days ago, somebody actually bought it. I don't know who that is. It'll be so interesting to find out. But Amazon doesn't tell, to the seller who is buying it. So I don't really know. But I really hope whoever got that book, they get the benefit out of it, that it really changes their mind from shame, guilt, all the way to self-love, peace, joy. That's how this transformation designed. It slowly takes you there, because our emotion, our mind cannot change overnight. It takes time. So slowly it gets there. There's a lot of research behind this book. If you ever see it, you'll know. Yeah, there are like 3 reflective questions. I actually still do it, believe it or not. There is different way I do gratitude, and then on Thursday I do the gratitude practice where I tell a little stories with the words and the stones. So yeah, gratitude is my thing. This is a gratitude wall. You guys know if you have been coming here for a while. That's what I started with. So the original one is still there, where January 1st of 2024, and eventually my background probably won't be this because I'll be moving out of this house at some point. But I'm glad that this will be always captured in many of my early videos, so that makes me feel good. Because gratitude is really my thing, because I know how it shaped. I wonder today that if I did not start with gratitude practice as of last January, how things would have unfolded. I don't know. I don't know. And I'm glad that I didn't go in any other path because it worked. Anyway, so yeah, a lot of fun stuff, different things going on. But the book is a big focus now because I have a lot of book that is planned for the next few years, but especially the trilogy, the first one, Grateful After Goodbye. And when I say that Grateful After Goodbye, um, this is not the path. If I could choose, I would not choose, and that's what happens, right? When difficulty hits you to your rock bottom, and there is no bottom. It's just you're on a free fall. Nobody would choose that, right? Even if you know that your future is going to be better from that, because it is just impossible. It is so painful. But when you are dealt with that card, you have to live it. And if you figure out a way to come out of that then you become unbreakable. And that's why I'm grateful that I know that the path, I believe in God, so the path that I had to travel, it was for a reason, so that I understand the pain that people are going through, the people I help. So that is why I'm writing the book, the first book, Grateful After Goodbye, because I learned to forgive, I learned to let go, and that's how slowly I was able to get into that deep emotion of gratitude. We can be grateful for the trees and the sky and the air and the usual stuff, which I still do. Our bodies, our organs. How many times do we think about our organs that are functioning, our senses that are working? Normally we don't, right? But when we keep practicing those over and over, then it reminds us there's so much good in the world, and then it helps us to remember that there is something way bigger than ourselves, right? In this, so I have a picture over there. It's a galaxy picture, and as soon as I wake up in the morning, first thing, that's what I see, and that is by design. I put it in there on purpose. So it is because to remind myself like how insignificant our life is, in a good way, meaning the world is going to evolve. There are all these things. There are people, generations after generations. We are here only for maximum 100 years, right? So not to hold on to things too tight. Let it go, let it go. And there is something divine or God that is way bigger than ourselves. They close the door, they open the door, and we just have to, live an observer's life, not to, as much as possible. And it's human beings, so sometimes we would do it, but don't blame, don't criticize, don't judge, right? Live an observer's life. Live a life as if like you're watching a movie, right? Your character is the main character in that movie, and just living that life. So yeah, and these are the cool perspective that I think when I used to talk these journal videos last year, I used to do it too. So now in a coffee lounge, I'm doing still, because I love to drink my coffee and do this chit chat a little bit, even though I'm kind of chit chatting with myself. But hopefully someday we'll do it together. Yeah. And it also reminds me of how far I have come. And sometimes that is important. You have to acknowledge yourself how far you have come. So for you too, if you're gathering around your close friends, talking to your best friend, even if it's once a month, once in 3 months, do it. And if you make a YouTube channel, TikTok, whatever works for you, something, keep going, because life is beautiful. Life is beautiful. There is so many things around us. Is abundance is all around us. You can watch TV all day long. That's an abundance, right? I mean, I know it's a funny example, but that's the point. There is so much all around us. We don't realize, and especially if you're in this country, in the United States, if you read a little bit about other countries, you'll know that people in this country is so fortunate with so many things, even though life can be hard. But to me, sometimes it is, I don't know, a little easier to compare, I would say, because at this point, about half of my life I lived in India, and rest half I've been here in the United States. So I have seen poverty like people don't have their houses. Like here, when people are homeless, they have a shelter to go to. In India, there is no shelter. If you don't have home, you just don't have home. I'm grateful that when I grew up, we were called middle class, but in India, middle class is like here, poor. So we had a house, of course, and we had we didn't have to worry about our food, but we didn't have too much. It is surprising to my daughter, and I think she probably still doesn't understand. I didn't eat in a restaurant until college, maybe not even high school. Yeah, because it was not a thing. First thing is, it was not a thing in India unless you're rich. And there's a lot of street food and stuff, so we had fun eating that. And also mostly we eat at home because we were 6 kids, and my brothers used to work. So it's a very different lifestyle. So I just hope that I remember all of this. And sometimes these videos I also do so that I remember my roots. It's important to remember our roots to be able to relate with others. And again, we won't be perfect, and some people will misjudge, and some people will think you're arrogant, but the right people will always know. The right people will always know. Okay, so with this, I'm going to finish the video, and then today I'm planning to work more on the books and also some other YouTube stuff. So with that, bye. Have a good rest of your day. Take care.